Morning, everyone. Beautiful Sunday morning. Today is day 864,753 miles once I complete this 5-mile walk this morning. And I've been thinking about what I wanted to talk about today, and this one's going to sting a little bit on my part. I mean, it's not going to sting for you, but this is probably the most embarrassing part of my life. But there's power in that, because I'm not the only one that has gone through this, and I'm certainly not going to be the last. So it may be, if someone else can listen to this and grab a nugget, that will be just freaking awesome. So in 1980, I had been married 1 year, and I experienced my first bout of depression. And without getting into the gory details, it was bad. I ended up in the hospital and scared my wife to death. And fast forward to today. Since then, I've been hospitalized 2 other times. And the point of saying this is, I really don't know if, even though I was diagnosed with clinical depression, I don't believe that for a minute. Clinical depression is real, but in my circumstance, I don't think it was, because, as I expressed in another video, and this is the embarrassing part, but it is what it is. Paul likes for things to go Paul's way. And number one, that's not reality, but that was Paul's reality for a long time. So when things didn't go Paul's way, Paul would quit a job, Paul would pout, Paul would manipulate, Paul would, let's just say it, attempt suicide a couple of times. And it's not, in my case, I just don't think it's a chemical problem. I don't think it can be fixed by meds. It's part of who I am. But here's the good part. For the last 860 days, there's this little thing called endorphins that you get from exercising. And I don't know if there are any clinical studies on all this kind of stuff. I have no idea. But here's the fun thing. I've gone through some tough days over the last 2.5 years. Self-inflicted, 100%, but tough nonetheless. And I sailed right through it. I just dug deep, and I found a way to just keep pushing forward. And now, as I said yesterday, I have got the absolute perfect independent contractor role selling ice cream. And why is it perfect? It's perfect because I control my destiny. My wife hit it on the head last week. She said, "You look happy." I said, "You know, I'm not unhappy." She said, "You are writing your own paycheck." And she's spot on. I mean, this woman, she's still married to me after 46 years. God bless her. She's right. Because it's not about making the money. It's about doing something that you can control. And again, as an employee, there's just not much you can do. Your boss or your corporation tells you what to do, and you do it, and they decide on what you're worth. I get to decide on what I'm worth every single day. I get paid for every single store that I open. And last week I opened 32. It's it just suits my personality is what I should say. I am the entrepreneur, but I'm not the entrepreneur that can go out there and start his own business, although this is pretty much as close as you can get without having the capital to do so. And you know, we got to do that in 2013. My family and I opened our restaurant down in Roebuck, South Carolina, called Paul's Wood-Fired Burgers, and we killed it. We had people lined out the door for weeks. You know, I mean, we did 20 grand the first week on a Crossroads in a non-branded concept. And, you know, when you grill burgers indoors on Big Green Eggs, it's different. And we lost that because, I'll just say it, I made a very poor choice in business partners. But that too was a good thing, because that led to a couple of friends of mine, doctors, who bought me a hot dog cart and wanted to help me open another restaurant. The restaurant didn't work out, but for 2.5 years I stood on a street corner selling hot dogs. I sold 52,000 hot dogs my very first year on the side of the road, taking a tent up and down every day. Here's the moral of all this. From the depression to the restaurant to the hot dogs. And when I say depression, I don't mean clinical depression. I mean a depressed mood, because that's my case. I was on medication for like 2 days back in 1980, and I said, no, don't like the way this makes me feel. I don't want to feel cloudy. I'm the original Boy Scout. I've never done drugs, very little alcohol. I like to be clear. I like for my mind to be absolutely clear, and that helps me, because again, when you don't have a lot of talent in anything, you have to rely on the skill set you do have. And my skill set right now is a mindset, you know, second to David Goggins, and work ethic, and just belief that whatever I want to do, I can do. You know, every one of you can do that too. How many of you, raise of hands, how many of you have wanted to start a business? How many of you have wanted to start a YouTube channel? How many of you have wanted to walk every day for 365 days? How many of you have wanted to compete in a CrossFit exercise? How many of you, I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on and on. So here is my challenge to you today. Do you want to be that person from now until your last day, till you take your last breath? Do you want to be that person who what ifs themselves and says, well, you know, if I was thinner, I could walk better. If I was smarter, I could do this. If I was, fill in the blank. And you're that what if person, and you're lying on your deathbed, are you going to be happy with what you've done in life, or are you going to have regret? Period. I said period. I feel like I'm writing a text. I'm not that person. While I have made countless mistakes and lived through depressed moods and lived through, you know, nearly losing my wife as far as divorce, real close. I still don't have any regrets, because as I said in another video, every decision I have made up to this point has put me right here, right now, in front of this camera talking to you, and that's what I want to do. If I can impart a little bit of passion, a little bit of desire, a little bit of drive in a small percentage of y'all who just feel like something's missing, I've done my job. And I think that's so important. So y'all have a great Sunday. As I learn more and more about what I want to say, my videos will get tighter and tighter. I tend to ramble, but that's just someone who's ADD squared rambles a lot. So y'all have a great day. Peace.